Every collector has a holy grail. Some have many. A holy grail is a piece that has eluded you, be it because of scarcity or price. These are my top 10 Star Wars Holy Grails. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. We are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerdzoic. Last week, I got one of my Star Wars Holy Grails, and that inspired this video. I know you're probably thinking, what grail is it? Well, thanks Andrew Clark, NWO member, friend of the channel, hooked me up with one of my grails. By the way, amazing artist. Some of his original artwork is available on nerdzoic.com. Check it out. But yeah, Star Wars Grail. So this was a ton of fun to think about and put together. And to be honest, it was not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. To buy everything on this list would only be 15 grand. Okay, that's pretty expensive. All right, no more pausing, no more stopping. Let's go right into this. Here is number 10. Coming in at number 10 is JACEN and JAINA Solo from the Legacy Collection. To pick these up as a pair would cost me around $250. These came out in 2010 and they were a Toys R Us exclusive. They came out towards the end of the Legacy Collection packaging line. Whenever they change up packaging styles and they go to a new line, so to speak, the last one always ends up being the hardest to find. For whatever reason, I don't think Hasbro produces enough. And of course, this one had sought-after characters in it. JACEN and JAINA have a special place in my heart because my first introduction to the Star Wars Expanded Universe was the Heir to the Empire novels, which I loved, and they were born in the first one, and then later on in the New Jedi Order series, which ended my EU fandom towards the end of that series. JACEN and JAINA, really need to get these. These are super expensive though for 3 3/4 inch figures. That's kind of crazy. Coming in at number 9 is the Star Wars Vintage Collection AT-AT, which will cost me about $825 mint in box. This was released in 2010. Well, there was also another one released in 2012, but that one was a Return of the Jedi version. I want the Empire Strikes Back version because it doesn't have any mud on the boots, the AT-AT legs, because as you know, Endor, kind of muddy, I guess, I don't know. But I want the Hoth one, because that's what I think of when I think AT-AT. This wasn't even cheap when it was released. I think it was only $200. It might have been more, but I'm pretty sure it was $200. And I remember saying, $200? I'm not paying that. Regret. But yeah, I really need to get this because I would love to set up some kind of a Hoth scene. That's probably one of my most wanted to make dioramas, is like a giant Hoth, like on a 4x4 table, and just leave it up perpetually. That would be awesome. Coming in at number 8 is a life-sized Yoda. This one, the specific one I want, would cost me about $2,500. There have been multiple of these released over the years, but the one that I want the most, the one that like is the apple of my eye, so to speak, is the Episode 1 Pepsi Yoda. I don't know why Pepsi made it, but they did. As you can see in the pictures, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful, and I have been watching him on eBay since like 2005. When I first started looking, he was only like $600, only $600, and it keeps getting more expensive, and I could totally use him around me somewhere. He looks amazing. And frankly, I would probably go to him for advice. I'd be like, Yoda, I'm exhausted, and I don't want to exercise anymore. He'd be like, no, you must. Fat you are. I need him in my life. Aside from that Pepsi version, I did mention that there are other versions. So Sideshow Toys does one, and that one is also beautiful, but it's just not the same for me. Honestly, it looks probably better, but I want the other one more, and they're about the same price. Ruby's Collectibles also does one, but that's under $1,000, and that seems suspicious to me, or as the kids say, sus. How do you make that for under $1,000 new? Something seems off there. It's probably made of like foam peanuts or something. Coming in at number 7 is the Boba Fett on a vintage card that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive back in 2019. He is the cheapest item that I want to acquire that is on this list, coming in at just about $200 to pick him up off of eBay. This figure is cool because it's got vintage coloring to it. It's not the traditional dark hunter green Boba Fett armor. It's more vibrant, I guess is the word. And the card isn't a traditional retro vintage card. It's more the Empire Strikes Back version from the Empire Strikes Back line back in, what, 79, I think? Maybe 1980? But yeah, this Boba Fett's awesome. I really want to get him someday. I absolutely love the line of vintage package 6-inch figures, and I've got some of the harder to find ones. Well, one of the harder to get ones, like the Luke Celebration exclusive. Boba Fett needs to go there. Oh wait, no, I got a couple more of them. I got the Obi-Wan and Darth Maul Celebration exclusives. So yeah, we gotta add Boba Fett to that list. Coming in at number 6 is the Queen's Royal Starship from the Episode 1 figure line that came out in 1999. Originally, this only went for $100. Nowadays, it doesn't come up that often for sale, but when it does, you can pick it up for about $300. In all my con comings and goings, I don't think I've ever seen this except for maybe once at a con, so it's not sold that often, which I'm kind of surprised it's only $300 to pick up. This was the biggest vehicle released during Episode 1, and it's probably the only one I don't have, because the rest of them I picked up on clearance. I don't think this ever made it to clearance, at least not by me. Coming in at number 5 is the Boba Fett and Han Solo and Carbonite 2-pack that was released at San Diego Comic-Con in 2013. This was the first Black Series exclusive that ever happened at a Comic-Con, and I have been drooling of it ever since it was announced, like 8 years ago. For years, this was the only way to get a Han Solo and Carbonite figure. Eventually, we got another one, but this was it for years, and people were not happy, including me. If I'm going to pick this up anytime soon, it's going for about $230, so it's not super expensive. It's towards the low end of the list, but still, $230. Coming in at number 4 is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Jabba the Hutt. This came out a year after the Boba Fett in 2014. He came in this amazing looking diorama. Like, ever since I saw the diorama, I needed it. He's got his little hookah thing. It's the only way you can get a Delicious Crumb figure. I love this. I love this more than the Boba Fett. That's how much I love this. It's not cheap though. Cost around $275 to pick up on the aftermarket, but like that Boba Fett, someday it's joining my Black Series collection. Coming in at number 3 is a life-size Han Solo in Carbonite. I've seen many versions of this over the years, but nothing beats the current Sideshow version, which goes for $7,500. It's 7.5 feet tall, it has film-accurate light effects on the side and front and rear panels, and it weighs over 300 pounds. This is, again, like a super centerpiece in a collection. This is something you put at the center of a collection room, and it literally ties it all together and is the best part of it. And to those of you already thinking it, yes, it will be my favorite decoration, much like Jabba the Hutt. Coming in at number 2 is one that might surprise some people, but it is the Trench Run vehicle set that came out as a Toys R Us exclusive back in 2011. I remember seeing this in Toys R Us, and I was dating my wife at the time. We were engaged, I believe, when we were saving for our wedding, and it was like $100. I really wish I would have splurged on it. That thing is just incredible. The reason I really wish I did is it's so hard to find in mint condition nowadays because it's so big. Unless you can get it in the original shipper box, it's really hard to find mint, and that's the type of vehicle that you really want in the box because it's a beautiful diorama, as you can see in the pictures. And quite frankly, it's huge. Like, oh, that thing is, again, like all of these, this Grail is like a display centerpiece. It's one that I really want to get someday. All right, you guys ready to go to number 1? For those of you who are regular viewers of the channel, you know what it is. For those of you who are not, you're going to say, oh, I should have saw that coming. Here we go. Coming in at number 1 is Jabba's Sail Barge. This was the first HasLab. The HasLab went up in 2018 and it was released in 2019. The HasLab went for $500, which was way too rich for my blood. I wasn't in the vintage collection then, but when that thing came out, I was just like, oh man, I made a big mistake. Right now, it's going for $2,500 at least on the aftermarket. That's like a pretty low-end estimate. It is not cheap to pick up. There was only, I think, like 10 or 12,000 of these made. Someday when I'm like rich, totally rich because I've won the lottery, I'll have like, I don't know, 7 of these. I know, it'll never happen. One will suffice someday. If this is the second or third time you've seen me in a video, then the universe is trying to tell you something. You should be subscribed to this channel, so if you're not, hit subscribe and make sure you hit the bell so you know whenever I go live. And I'd also like to know in the comments, what is your number 1 Star Wars Holy Grail? Till next time, remember, you have to get old, but you don't have to grow up. Just be cool, stay nerdy. Later.